Welcome to Casting Possibilities, and today we're gonna look at actors who were considered for roles in the 1996 golf movie, Happy Gilmore. Now Adam Sandler was already cast as Happy Gilmore because he helped with the script, so we're just gonna look at people who were considered for the roles of Shooter McGavin, Virginia Vennet, Doug Thompson, Chubbs, Mr. Larson, and a special surprise that you never knew about Happy Gilmore. Original choices for Shooter McGavin. Well, Christopher McDonald was the original choice for the role. He initially turned it down at first, and the second name that was considered was Kevin Costner. Dances with Wolves star Kevin Costner was offered the role but turned it down due to filming another golf movie, Tin Cup, which was also released in 1996. Also considered for the role of Shooter was Tim Allen. Tim Allen was offered the role of Shooter McGavin but apparently never responded to the offer. Also considered for the role of Shooter was Daniel Stern. Daniel Stern was also considered because he had what it takes to be a goofball bad guy thanks to his experience as Marv the Wet Bandit in Home Alone, but unfortunately Stern wasn't available. I still would have loved to have seen Daniel Stern take on Adam Sandler, but oh well. Also considered for the role of Shooter was Kelsey Grammer. Dr. Fraser Crane himself, Kelsey Grammer, was also offered the role but turned it down due to scheduling conflicts. Christopher McDonald then changed his mind and accepted the role after playing a game of golf. I made a little error in the intro. I forgot to say we will also talk about who was considered for Grandma Gilmore too. Well, let's do that now. Before Frances Bay was cast, Happy Gilmore could have starred Betty White. The Queen of Game Shows herself, Betty White, was offered the role of Grandma Gilmore but apparently turned it down. Also considered for the role was Angela Lansbury. Angela Lansbury was offered the role of Grandma Gilmore but turned down the offer. Also offered the role was Estelle Getty. Sophia Petrillo herself, Estelle Getty, was also offered the role of Grandma Gilmore but was unable to accept the offer. Also offered the role was Jean Stapleton. Edith Bunker herself, Jean Stapleton, was also offered the role of Grandma Gilmore but turned it down. Also considered for the role of Grandma Gilmore was Joan Plowright. British actress Joan Plowright was also considered for the role but was unavailable. Original choices for Virginia Vennet. Before Julie Bowen was cast, the first choice for the role of Virginia Vennet, believe it or not, was Brooke Shields. 80s sex symbol Brooke Shields was considered for the role of Virginia Vennet, but the casting idea was quickly dismissed because the 6-foot-tall Shields would have looked a little taller next to the 5'10" Adam Sandler. Ironically, during the ice skating scene, Happy tells Virginia that his childhood crush was Brooke Shields. Also considered for the role of Virginia Vennet was Lori Loughlin. Full House star Lori Loughlin had auditioned for the role but unfortunately wasn't cast. To me, I think the role of Virginia Vennet would have been perfect for Lori Loughlin, but oh well. Also offered the role of Virginia Vennet was Helen Hunt. Helen Hunt was also offered the role but apparently was busy with Twister, which was also released in 1996. Also offered the role of Virginia Vennet was Robin Wright. Forrest Gump co-star Robin Wright was also offered the role, but turned down the offer. Also considered for the role of Virginia Vennet was Amy Jo Johnson. Original Pink Ranger herself, Amy Jo Johnson, was offered the role of Virginia Vennet but unfortunately wasn't cast. I believe when she wasn't cast, she went. Well, as the Rolling Stones sang, you can't always get what you want. I still would have loved to have seen Amy Jo Johnson fall in love with Adam Sandler, but oh well. Also considered for the role of Virginia Vennet was Janeane Garofalo. Stand-up comedienne Janeane Garofalo was also offered the role but wasn't available. Also offered the role was Cameron Diaz. 90s sex symbol Cameron Diaz was also offered the role of Virginia Vennet but turned it down due to other filming commitments. Also offered the role of Virginia Vennet was Uma Thurman. A year before playing Poison Ivy in Batman and Robin, Uma Thurman was offered the role of Virginia Vennet but refused to accept the offer. Original choices for Doug Thompson. Before director Dennis Dugan cast himself as Doug Thompson, the role was originally written for Rick Moranis. Better known for starring in Little Shop of Horrors and Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, Rick Moranis was offered the role of Doug Thompson but turned it down due to filming Big Bully, which was also released in 1996. Also considered for the role of Doug Thompson was George Wendt. Cheers star George Wendt was also offered the role but rejected the offer. Also offered the role of Doug Thompson was John Ratzenberger. George Wendt's Cheers co-star John Ratzenberger was also offered the role of Doug Thompson but was unable to accept the offer. Also offered the role of Doug Thompson was Jerry Orbach. Jerry Orbach was offered the role but turned it down due to commitments with Law and Order. Also offered the role of Doug Thompson was Max Wright. ALF star Max Wright was also offered the role but turned it down. Also offered the role of Doug Thompson was Stephen Tobolowsky. Actor Stephen Tobolowsky was also offered the role but turned it down. Original choices for Chubbs. Before Carl Weathers was cast, the original choice for the role was R. Lee Ermey. R. Lee Ermey was offered the role but apparently Adam Sandler refused to work with him. R. Lee Ermey would later star in another Dennis Dugan movie, Saving Silverman, in 2001. Also offered the role of Chubbs was Bob Hoskins. British actor Bob Hoskins was also offered the role but turned it down. Also offered the role was James Avery. Uncle Phil himself, James Avery, was also offered the role but was busy filming the last season of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air on NBC. Also offered the role of Chubbs was Danny Glover. Danny Glover was also offered the role but turned it down. Adam Sandler suggested Carl Weathers because of his experience as Apollo Creed in the Rocky movies. Original choices for Mr. Larson. Before Richard Kiel was cast, the first choice for the role of Mr. Larson was Lou Ferrigno. Former Mr. Universe Lou Ferrigno was offered the role of Mr. Larson but wasn't available. Also offered the role of Mr. Larson was Mr. T. TV tough guy Mr. T was also offered the role but wasn't available. Also offered the role of Mr. Larson was Hulk Hogan. Legendary wrestler Hulk Hogan was also offered the role but was busy filming other movies and wrestling. Also offered the role of Mr. Larson was Kevin Nash. Former WWE and WCW champion Kevin Nash was also offered the role because of his popularity in the WWF, but apparently, he rejected the offer because he did not feel like appearing in the movie. Original choice for the fight scene. Before Bob Barker was cast, the original choice to do the fight scene was Ed McMahon. Ed McMahon was offered the role because Adam Sandler was a huge fan of him and wanted McMahon to appear and do the fight scene, but apparently McMahon wasn't fond of the script and turned down the offer. Also, the line, "The price is wrong, bitch," was originally gonna be, "He's dead." A reference to McMahon's famous catchphrase, "Here's Johnny." Bob Barker was cast because of Chuck Norris being his neighbor, and it led to one of the best movie scenes of all time. Thanks for watching.